Hey all, welcome back. It is Alexis, and today in our pre-pregnancy prep, we are talking about birth control. So before I go ahead and talk about birth control, I do want to say I am not a doctor. I I guess have no idea what I'm talking about, but I'm just giving you some of the advice that I've learned and read about and just kind of my journey through that. So to start, I guess we'll talk about why did I get on birth control in the first place? And to be honest, there was many reasons, but just to name a few, one was my doctor recommended it. She said, I really think this is a good idea because you get period cramps and you say that they're uncomfortable. It could be an iron deficiency. These have little iron pills that you can take and blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay, that sounds great. That's what I'll do. And on top of that, she had tried to kind of persuade me into, it has cancer preventions and all of that, which I'm not really sure I believe in anymore, but who knows? Who knows with all this new technology? But anyhow, so she was kind of encouraging me that it would be a good idea. And my husband and I knew that, when the time came, we didn't want to have to worry about it because he would be leaving. So I decided to get on it. So that was about 4 years ago. Now, fast forward to about January of last year. So I had been getting for probably about 6 months just really bad headaches. I would say almost on the verge of migraines. Like I would have to lay down because they were so bad. And on top of that, I just was kind of moody. I was having really bad panic attacks and anxiety. And when I kind of after 6 months realized all these things are going together, I was like, oh, I wonder if this could be my birth control. My pharmacy was really bad about giving me different types of birth control too. So every month it was like they would say, oh yeah, it's the same formula, but it was a different brand and who knows what the different makeup was. So anyway, that probably had something to do with it as well. So I then was doing some research and I was all these symptoms that I'm having say it could be from birth control. So I am just going to get off. And I kind of just cold turkey got off. And so at that point, I had been thinking about, wanting to get off soon just because I wanted to give my body time to detox before my husband deployed and came back home before we were going to start trying. And I had talked to my doctor, my new doctor, and I had asked her, so how long before? And, she kind of gave me the rule of thumb, whatever feels right for your body. We recommend anywhere from 3 months to a year out. The longer you go, the more your body kind of gets into a rhythm. So that's always great. So I kind of just erred on the side of caution and I decided I'll get off about a year in advance anyway. So I was kind of thinking in that spring I would be getting off birth control, but I decided because of all the headaches and just the constant mood swings and all of that, I would just get off cold turkey. And let me give you some advice. You probably should tell your doctor when you do this. I did not. I just kind of got off and decided this is it, I'm done. And I will say I did get my periods pretty soon after. It wasn't like I had to wait a super long time, oh gosh, is it ever coming back type thing. But yeah, so it was a pretty easy transition, although they were very irregular. I would say up until the last 2 to 3 cycles, it's been very irregular. And irregular, I just mean it's some months it would be 28 days and other months it would be close to 40 days. So it was just never really the same. But they say that happens. And again, if you tell your doctor, hey, I'm getting off birth control, they'll tell you these things. So then you're probably asking, well, then what did you do to make sure that you did not get pregnant? Because my husband was going to be deploying and we knew we didn't want to have kids while he was gone. We did not want him to miss any of that. I didn't want him to miss any of that. Just being parents together was something we would be so excited to do. Now, obviously, if it happened and that was God's will, then hey, we'll go with it and we'll work with it. But we decided, well, let's, try our best to make sure this doesn't happen. So we ended up finding an app called Natural Cycles. And this is where I could track my cycle and it tells you all the way along kind of what days are green days, which means you're totally safe and good, and then which days are red days, which means be really extra careful. So we basically just use this. With this app, you take your temperature every morning between, it's like an hour window or whatever. I'm gonna be honest with you, I am terrible with my whole temperature thing, and it's still fairly accurate. Not saying that you should be not measuring your temperature all the time, but I mean, I would miss a day here and a day there, and it was still fairly accurate. So I really have liked the app. I've really learned a lot about my body through it. I do want to do another video pretty soon on ovulation and just kind of talking about that. So I'll go more into detail about just kind of what I've learned through that. But the coolest part about this journey of being off birth control for the last year was that I think I'd mentioned earlier that I had really bad cramps prior to getting on, and that is why I kind of got on birth control. Well, ends up that through realizing, oh gosh, my period cramps are coming back, what do I do? I kind of started eliminating some food from my diet, and I find out that I really can't process dairy. So once I cut out the dairy, I had no idea my period was even coming. So make sure you check your diet too to be sure that you're getting everything you need, and cut out the things that could possibly be making it worse. I know dairy and gluten can definitely make your period cramps worse, so definitely try cutting those out. If you're having period cramps. I know that very often, it can be other reasons too, but for me, it was just a simple fix of, okay, Lex, no dairy. That means no cheese pizza, which I love, no ice cream, which I love, but hey, it keeps you healthier. So anyhow, again, if I didn't say it in the beginning, I'll say it again. I would probably recommend listening to your body. Listen to what your body's telling you. If you feel like I should be off birth control 3 months ahead of time, I should be off birth control for a year ahead of time, do what you feel is right. I always say, listen to your gut, listen to what your body is telling you. So I hope that this kind of helped. I will link below the natural cycles. They have no idea that I'm even, talking about this. They did not tell me to talk about it. So I will link that below just so you can go over and look at it. I think it's $100 for the year, just so you know, I didn't mention that earlier, but it's a great app. I really, really love it. So anyhow, thank you so much for stopping by today. If you have any questions about this that you think that I can answer, go ahead and comment below, and I will do my best. If you would like to receive updates about new video releases, go ahead and click the link below, and you will get notified every single Tuesday about pre-pregnancy prep. So anyhow, hope you are doing well, and I will see you next week.